See, the brain is dumb. Okay. It's just dumb. It believes what you tell it. It holds on to what you tell it. It creates an environment of emotional instability sometimes. It just does. But its only job is to keep you alive and to keep you safe. So when you think about your brain in that function, to keep you alive and to keep you safe, and you think about the things you've been feeding it, the things you've been doing, and the habits you have unsuccessfully added to your life, or the goals you have unsuccessfully met, and that's what your brain is holding on to, that's what it sees as safety. Like this area, this equilibrium of your life right now is what is safe to your brain because it's what it knows. So it'll keep you there. It's very similar to when I talk to people who come to work with me and I have to give them the harsh reality of your life is on fire because you prefer it to be on fire.
Hi, welcome to Say More Words, a podcast that was created to emphasize the human experience through stories. I hope that you come here to learn, to expand, and most importantly, learn how to say more words. Speak your story, speak your truth, boo-boo. We're so happy you're here.
Good morning. Happy first podcast of the year. Say More Worders. I know. Listen, we are 2 weeks into the year. I've not released a single episode. Sumo has said so many nice words to me, not mean words, but has been like, hey, could you just do something, anything? That would be great. And I didn't. But now I'm here. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Tamika Taylor. And I'm just super excited for another year with y'all. I'm going to be honest. Song of the day, though, before we get started into any kind of rambles. Okay. Song of the day is Man I Need by Olivia something. It plays all of the time. I am currently, you can tell, like I'm not in my studio. I'm not at home. I'm in La Crosse, Wisconsin, where I went to high school, middle school, and call it home. And it was bring a friend to work today. I had a speaking engagement last night, and I'm meeting with some clients today here, and my friend has a corporate office here, and they had an office space, and so I'm using it, and it's great. So I really think bring your friend to work days should be a thing as an adult. You know, like we could bring our kids to work. Like as a kid, that was a thing. Like you got to go to work with your parents. Like we should bring friends. Anyways, it's a new year. We talked a lot last year about how it was the year of shedding. It was the year of the snake. And if you are like, why are things still on fire? It's because the year of the horse doesn't actually start until February 17th. It's the Chinese calendar, not ours. And so shedding is still happening for some people. Some people really feel like they are in the depths of it. But partially too, like we just have a really hard time as human beings. And maybe you don't. Maybe I'm just speaking on your behalf. But I feel like a lot of people have just a really hard time with that December to January transition. December is filled with holiday parties and sweets and all of the drinking and all, like there's no rules and there's no routine and there's just nothing. And then we jump right back into routine in January. And then we also jump into what we're going to talk about today, where it's like all these habits and all blah, 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 like new year, new me bullshit. And we just get so inundated by how we are supposed to be new that we're exhausted by that, but we're also like detoxing from the holiday season. And bonus, if you live in Texas, cedar is pollinating. And so you want to die because everything is draining from your face all of the time. It's just January is an interesting month. And we expect so much of ourselves. So like that's what we're talking about today is the whole like toxicity of the new year, new me nonsense. Now, I do love the beginning of a new year. I love the start of it. I love the newness, I love new things. I love new experiences, I just love that part of life. But we have created such a toxic world when it comes to New Year, New Me in social media. Everyone has like all of their goals they're going to achieve and what they're going to do. And, everyone starts 75 hard in January and like everyone's going to start working out and start doing all of these things. And it's just not real. And I have had, and I'm blessed in this work. I love this work that I do where I get to guide individuals into finding their true self, their true leadership style, the true ways that they function. That is a blessing of my life. Like it is what I am called to do. I love it. And at the beginning of January, I am filled to the brim with people panicking because they suddenly want to change everything in their lives this month. And I don't know about you, but nothing in my life has suddenly changed in just one day for the good. It happens over time. We didn't just all of a sudden stand up and start walking. We didn't all of a sudden just figure out how to ride a bike. Like it didn't happen in one day. It could have happened in one day, but it happened in small steps in that day. And we just think as adults, because we have free will, that that's what's going to happen. And then it doesn't. And then we go into shame, blame, guilt spirals because why can't I figure this out? Why can't I commit to this? Why can't I do this? Or you try something and then you fail. Like somebody just recently was like, I started 75 hard, failed in 4 days. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because so many people just jump into habits without habit stacking, without jumping or starting with one habit and then adding a habit and adding a habit. And I'm not telling you you can't be successful at 75 hard. It's just easier to be successful at 75 hard when you prep yourself for 75 hard. If you think that you're going to suddenly add 10 new things to your schedule and your life and your brain and don't prep yourself, you're going to fail every time. And that works for that structure of programming, but it works in all areas. Okay, so hear me. It has nothing to do with motivation. Well, let me say this. It has nothing to do with motivation. It does not have anything to do with if you're a good person or not. And it has nothing to do with discipline on whether you're successful in these areas or not. It all comes down to you and your brain and the conversations you're having with it. See, the brain is dumb. Okay, it's just dumb. It believes what you tell it. It holds on to what you tell it. It creates an environment of emotional instability sometimes. It just does. But its only job is to keep you alive and to keep you safe. So when you think about your brain in that function, to keep you alive and to keep you safe, and you think about the things you've been feeding it, the things you've been doing, and the habits you have unsuccessfully added to your life, or the goals you have unsuccessfully met, and that's what your brain is holding on to, that's what it sees as safety. Like this area, this equilibrium of your life right now is what is safe to your brain because it's what it knows. So it'll keep you there. It's very similar to when I talk to people who come to work with me and I have to give them the harsh reality of your life is on fire because you prefer it to be on fire. You're actually more comfortable with it on fire because that's what you've always known. And so when it gets calm, you get uncomfortable and you create fires or you create chaos. There are lots of people out there who function solely on adrenaline and chaos because that's all that they've taught their brain. So their brain thinks that's safe. They think calm and comfort is not safe. Your brain that their brain does. And so because calm and comfort is not safe, they will create those environments over and over and over again. So that's what happens with your habits. That's why slow habit stacking and prepping for, say, 75 hard. This is not a plug on 75 hard at all. It's not. I did it one summer. I don't know that I'll ever do it again. Maybe I will. I did do 75 hard and 75 soft, where I only do one workout. Um, this is not a plug for it or a saying that it doesn't work or it's not good for you. But I find that people can be more successful if they start working in those habits earlier than when they jump into it, because you have to give your brain proof that you're safe doing these things. But what I find is that people, when they jump into all these habits and they think like, I'm going to be a new person, I'm going to work out every day, I'm going to eat healthy every day, I'm not going to drink, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. What they do, though, is they're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And then they tell themselves all of the reasons why this sucks. Oh, I can't have that. I can't go out to dinner. I can't do this. Everything hurts and I'm dying and I can't keep drinking all this water because I'm peeing all the time, or like I can't commit to this because I've just never been able to commit to this. And so what they do is they shame, blame, and guilt themselves into a spiral, and their brain's like, yeah, you're right, you can't do this. So we're no longer going to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden you start missing your workouts, you stop showing up for yourself, um, you just let all of these habits that you were trying to do go because you didn't actually create a place of safety inside of your head for those habits to exist. So, like, what does this look like? Right? Like, how does one do this? Because it does suck, right? Like working out at the beginning sucks. Everything hurts. You can't sit on the toilet properly because your legs are shaking, or you can't get up, or um, your arms hurt. Like that part sucks. It hurts. But what is also true, because two things, a hard and a good, can exist in the same place. It sucks, but it also feels really good in your body. It helps you sleep better. You start to feel better. You start to look better after you get past those few days. But people don't tell themselves that part. They just point out what's not working. When you point out to yourself consistently and regularly what's not working, your brain's like, this doesn't work. We're not doing this anymore. Because its job is to protect you. This doesn't work. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. And then you are done. And then you shame, blame, and guilt yourself for being done, for not being able to figure it out, for not finishing, all of these things. And then you wonder why you don't want to start anything new. And then you wonder why you are lacking motivation. Motivation is actually safety. You become more motivated in environments in which you are safe. You identify that environment as a safe place for you to be, a safe thing for you to continue. Your brain's like, yes, it is. I'm going to continue doing this. That's why people who are more successful in starting to work out more regularly, when they start telling themselves, like, this makes me feel really good. I'm sleeping really well. My body is starting to change. Saying those things to your brain goes, oh, yeah, like this is really good for us. We can't miss it. Or, like I had an all vegetable smoothie the other day, or a juice, and afterwards there was just so much clarity. And because there was so much clarity, I got so much done and I was more successful and I slept really well at night. So yes, vegetables are a good thing. So when you're adding things, the key point here is when you're adding things to your life that are not part of your regular routine, or maybe they're things you did back in the day and you were really successful at it and then you stopped. Instead of shaming and blaming and guilting yourself to continue doing those things, if you start encouraging yourself and telling yourself the reasons why those things are good, it starts to create a place of safety inside of yourself. And when you have safety, you have motivation. And when you have motivation, you have discipline. Motivation and discipline is not what you're searching for truly in the depths of your brain. Your brain is looking for safety. So creating an environment of safety makes you successful. It does. It makes you successful. So as you're looking at, because everybody has, goals, and they have a word for the year, and they have um, different metrics that they need to meet, and you're going through these things, make sure, one, that they are actually doable. Okay. Make sure. I'm not saying don't dream, because dreaming and having an imagination actually makes you more successful than those who do not. Um, so you need to have dreams and you need to have aspirations, but you can't eat a cow. And I'm sorry to my vegetarians and vegans. There's some in every crowd who either listen to the podcast or who are in stage crowds with me. This is no offense to you, but I grew up in Wisconsin, which is where I am right now, and we eat a lot of cows. So you can't eat an entire cow in one bite, in one sitting. So you have your major year goal, which is the whole cow. And when people only look at that goal, the end goal of eating the whole cow by the end of the year, when they only look at that, it's very defeating. Your brain actually feels no safety in that because one, it's never seen it before, and two, it's too big to comprehend. And so then they're striving and working towards that end of the year goal and feeling defeated along the way because their brain doesn't feel safe in that. So you have to, in order to eat it in a whole cow, you got to break it down. So when you look at your year goal, break it down into month goals. Okay. So what do you need to do this month to be successful in the goal? What do the numbers have to look like? What habits do you have to put in place? What things need to get done? Okay. So now we have it by the month. So we've taken this beautiful cow and we've broken it up into sections. Okay. And then in order, like even that section, I don't know what parts come from what, so I can't even be that person for you. But you break it down into a section, and still even that section, the month, can be kind of hard to grasp. That can still feel very unsafe. You can't eat that whole, like a quarter of a cow by yourself. So then you break it down into multiple steaks, a couple of chuck roasts, hamburger meat, and then suddenly we have different sections, and those are your weeks. Breaking down your month goal into what it looks like each week. And that you can look at a steak and be like, I can eat that. I can eat that whole steak. And your brain starts to believe, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's much easier. I can comprehend that. That number is safe. Those habits are safe. That makes sense to me. And then even more so, when you're eating said steak, you eat it one bite at a time. So breaking down all of your goals down from month or from year to month to week to what it has to look like each day. And that creates a place of safety for your brain because your brain's like, yeah, we can do that. That makes sense. As opposed to, holy cow, how am I going to eat that whole thing? So we break it down into bites and you eat every steak bite by bite. I've never seen anybody engulf an entire steak in one. So if you break everything down into day by day, it becomes more doable and you can become more reliable on yourself and your brain feels safe in that space. Safety gets things done. It just does. So if you are doing 75 hard, if you are gunning for the biggest year financially you've ever done, if you are even just one of the things that I love to do with people is that yes, you can have career goals and aspirations and you have goals for your kids, but if you don't have any goals on your list for this year, that is getting to know yourself better, getting over your own bullshit, getting deeper in the ways that you are limiting yourself and in eradicating that, having better boundaries. If those goals don't exist, you're failing already. And I don't want to be that person who tells you you're failing, but you are. And it's important for me to say that to you because you are the common denominator in everything in your life. It's you. So if you don't work on the things and you just keep burying it with everybody else's responsibilities, unfortunately, you will continue to fail. You'll get better. I see a lot of people do it where they get better and they get better and they get better, and then all of a sudden they crash. And that's because they're avoiding the things that they know it needs to be worked on by hiding it in relationships or businesses or career goals, etc. They just hide it. And if you want to have the most powerful year of your life, this is the year where you put goals on your schedule that dive deeper into you. becoming a better friend to you, becoming more aware, becoming just a stronger version of you. And if you don't know, if you're like, Tamika, I don't even know where to start on what that looks like, feel free to send me a message. My email will be in the show notes. I'm happy to talk through that with you on what does it look like to set goals? What do I even need to work on? I don't even know what my limiting beliefs are. There's so many people who have no idea. And that's part of the thing with personal development work is that it's personal, sure, but you can't do it yourself because you can't see the things you've been avoiding all of the time. Some of you can because you've become so uncomfortable with it that you're like, now I have to do something about it. But for the most part, we don't see it. We don't see the way that we're limiting ourselves. We don't see the way that we are stuck in our own BS. We don't see the ways that we're stopping and keeping ourselves small. We need somebody else to kind of call you out on it or have the conversation of, I know this. How do I get out of it? We can't actually get out of our own muck by ourselves. Somebody has to be there to pull you out of it. And so if you're kind of like, yeah, I'm still in it, the shedding from last year was awful, but good. Shedding is great because it reveals new skin, and the new skin is pure and wonderful. And if you're just kind of like, ugh, and I don't even know what to work on, send me a message, send me an email. I have a group that's starting here in 2026 called Unmuted that is meant specifically for people to have a space, an environment to continuously work on themselves, to stop avoiding themselves, to find what works, what doesn't work, to move past those limiting beliefs, to move to a place where they can be seen, heard, loved, and cared for by themselves first and stop seeking it out in others. Unmuted is a great community, very inexpensive, and a great addition to anything that you are doing for you or your team members if they work with you or work for you, because it just gives you the space to be honest, to work through the muck, to have accountability, and to do truly make all of your dreams come true. So in 2026, my word of the year is ascension. This is the year that I ascend past all of the hard, all of the muck. And I will tell you, one of the things that's on the top of my gratefulness list is all of the hard that I had to go through, because that hard has created an environment for me to grow, learn, change, and move forward. But also, since I have processed and worked through all of the hard, because the universe and God is good, all of the people that I get to help because I had that experience and learned, they're all starting to show up. And it's just wonderful. Sometimes we have to think about, instead of saying something is happening to us, it's like, how is this happening for us? And how is it happening for the greater good? So I am grateful for 2025. Gosh, she was a bitch. It was awful. I did not appreciate any moment of her, but now I do. I didn't appreciate her while I was going through it, but now I do. I see the light. I am ascending. So the year of ascension is 2026 for me. That is my word of the year. You'll probably hear me talk about it a lot, and I'm just excited to go through this year with you. If there are any topics that you want me to cover, if you're kind of in this space where you're like, I really need somebody to talk about this and I'm not finding it in the podcasting world, let me know. If there's certain guests that you want to see, also let me know. This is going to be the year that we explode my podcast into the top 1% for self-help, which is really, really hard because like getting in the top 1% is like being elbows with like Ed Milet and Mel Robbins and Tony Robbins and all of the big wigs. And so I want you to be able to have a space to hear the things you need to hear about. So feel free to leave them in the comments on any of the platforms that you're watching this or listening to this on, to email me, because my email will be in the show notes. What do you want to hear? What do you need? 2026 is the year of the horse that starts on February 17th. And this is the year we rebuild and we conquer. And I'm so excited for it. I am so excited for it. So thank you for being a part of this space. If you want to join the Unmuted community, that's also going to be in the show notes. We would love to have you. We would love to be part of your journey and be part of the space in which you are growing and moving. I am so very proud of you. Thank you for being here. Welcome to year 3 of the Say More Words podcast. It's time to change some lives. I'm so glad that you're here. I love you. I mean it. Have a great day.